All right, do you know what vehicle this is? This is the new Land Rover Defender, which we're not gonna talk about at all. So, we've been traveling the world for 3 years now, and in a Land Rover Defender, the old version, called Albatross. And there are 7 points we wish we knew before the trips, which we're going to share with you right now.
And what's the first one?
Well, the first one is the vehicle choice. It would have been great to know what are the particularities and the weaknesses of a Defender, and in your case, of your vehicle. So for example, anything about the engine bay, anything about the chassis, anything about the body of the vehicle itself. In our case, it was knowing that after 150,000 kilometers, the injectors needed to be replaced, and we didn't know that, and so we had a dead engine. No more driving the car, that's for sure. We broke our engine, our piston cracked, we ordered a new one.
At first I thought, like we take a vehicle that is easier to fix because it doesn't have as much electronic, even if we have a more modern Defender. But it's true that I had not factored in that the comfort is a bit more limited. And we've seen some other travelers who actually switched vehicles to get into more comfortable things where they can get AC or a better heating or better seats. We feel that we could get extra comfort with a more modern vehicle, but extra headaches in case you have a problem.
Yeah. Another one is you don't need as much gear. Like our car doesn't have a roof rack. A lot of vehicles do, and that's totally fine for their trip. But what we've noticed is you actually don't need much in terms of clothing, in terms of gear, in terms of accessories, anything you bring, you probably only need, I don't know, half, 3/4 of it.
Sand ladders are useful though.
Yeah.
Can you imagine this Lego vehicles as sand ladders? Sorry, I'll let you go.
Yeah. Sand ladders. Well, actually, we've only used them like 5 times.
Yeah, but when you need them.
Yeah, when you need them, winch even more useful, but yeah.
Oh yeah, it has a winch too.
You gotta press right here to
Really?
unlock the winch. Pretty crazy, huh? All right, point 2.
Point 2 is it's not as dangerous as what you may think or what most people think. We've always been helped. Every time we were a bit lost, there was always someone showing up with a good advice or a good recommendation, and the world is just not as dangerous. So security should not be a primary concern if you take good decisions. In our case, we felt that probably what kept us safe during our journey so far in the last 3 years is we've been trusting our instincts. Every time we didn't feel a place, we were like, okay, we move on. We also spend just 1 night in every camp spot, and we feel that probably limits the risk of someone spotting us and then taking the opportunity for our next day to come and steal some of our things, for example. And we don't spend too much time in big town, big cities where, I mean, that's the reality. That's where you find most of the crime most of the time. So in our case, no problem. Security, easy.
Third point is border crossing. So literally when you cross a border to the next country, so to Mathilde's country, it is actually fairly easy. I'm not saying it's always easy because we've done the Americas, and that was pretty easy the whole way. And Australia was a little bit of paperwork, but it's not that complicated. Now we're in Asia, which I know will be a little bit harder, and Africa as well will have its own issues. We thought we would need like scans of our passports, of all of our documents, that we would need to be extremely careful and need to be extremely precise on everything we do, because otherwise we would mess up a paper and be stuck and have tons of problems. It's not that bad. It's honestly fairly easy, and you do it once, twice, 3 times, and then you're pretty much set. For shipping, it is practically the same thing. All you need is your car registration, your passport, and sometimes at Carnet de Passage, we'll put a link in the description for another video that talks about this or what it means, but that's all you need.
Point 2 and point 3 for us is just to say, don't let those things stop you, right?
Yeah.
Because people tend to overthink it, and we thought it would be harder than what it was.
Oh, 100%. And honestly, everything around the world is not that hard, except for it's a lot of things to think about, but once you're on it, you're on it, and it's the best memories.
Number 4 is we wished we had learned to be more flexible with our plans from the get-go. When you plan a 2 or 3 years long trip, you're tempted to approach it at the very beginning like a 2 weeks holidays. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because we realize the weather changes, and why stay in bad weather for 2 weeks when you can just move on a bit faster? Or someone invites you somewhere and you're going to say no because you have everything mapped out for the next 6 weeks and you're stressed of like matching that timeline. Being more flexible with our plan, we noticed we enjoyed our trip much more. Less stress and more opportunities and more nice surprises. I think that's what a long journey has to offer. So our approach now is starting planning the country where we are entering, when we are entering it.
Yeah, maybe a little week before. But yeah, we definitely keep it a lot more relaxed.
Point 5 is actually very much linked to the point 4. We had to teach ourselves to say yes to almost every invitation we were receiving. We learned on this trip that we made our best encounters saying yes to the unexpected. We ended up planting corals in the Caribbean. We ended up visiting a plain boneyard, that's how you say?
Yeah, in the US.
In Arizona. We ended up counting alpacas with shepherd in Peru.
Yeah.
There's countries with bad reputation, for example, Honduras. Someone had invited us for a barbecue and we said yes without thinking too much because we were already in that vibe by that time. We ended up in the middle of the mountain. We had no idea who we were going to meet. We ended up spending 3 days with Daniel.
Yeah.
And we're still in contact.
Yeah.
And we just love them so much.
Yeah. Point 6, something that we learned a little bit later, but we had still done quite well at the beginning, is to not follow the routes that everyone takes. Of course, you still want to go see the interest points. Of course, we still wanted to go, visit the countries that everyone goes to visit. They're great. But maybe between 2 points, instead of taking the highway or the normal road, just look at something that crosses and that cuts that road. Because that way, we went into very local places. We met people. We saw how the country really looked like outside of the touristic and main roads. Sure, it might take longer, but the experience will be so much better. You just find your own new routes, because iOverlander has a lot of options, but finding your own bivouac spot, your own camping spot, it just makes it a lot more authentic, adventurous, at least to us. So those are just things we do, and till today, it's our favorite way of traveling.
Yeah, we feel that sometimes we get too comfortable with apps like iOverlander.
Yeah.
They give you the campsite, they give you everything, the things to see, places to get water. And so you go in the mindset that everything you need is on this app, but there's only what's on this app. And so you forget that you can get water elsewhere. You can camp in many more places that are amazing, that are just not on the app. Sometimes you get maybe too comfortable at using an app like this. I had to remind ourselves that we also like searching our own spots.
And we usually only do it an hour to 30 minutes before the nighttime.
And we find
it because we got pretty good at it.
Boom.
On Patreon, we share all of those details of how we find campsites, how we plan itineraries, all that stuff. So you can jump on there. But yeah, we are really good at it. And it's a lot of fun. All right. So the final point, which is point 7.
It's a cheesy point, but I wished I knew 99.99999% of the people on this planet were truly good people and they were out there to help you. I had more scare of people than Nick had, so I was a bit more suspicious and I was wondering, oh, maybe this person is going to steal me or is trying to scam me. That's not the right mindset. And because Nick didn't have it, I learned that most people were good. I remember we were in Guatemala. That was a pretty interesting story. We were looking for a camp spot and this guy on a scooter saw that we were searching around and he stopped and he had a gun on his belt. In Guatemala, many people carry guns outside, it's allowed. And he was approaching us and I was telling Nick, let's go, let's go to another place. I don't feel comfortable here. And Nick just started chatting with that guy, Joel. And Joel invited us to his place, to the place of his brother. We went to visit the farm. We worked with the cows with him. We slept in his house. We shared a pizza. It ended up being a great friendship.
Yeah.
And if it was for me, it would have never happened.
Yeah.
So trust people.
Yeah, people are good everywhere around the world. Like the amount of experiences we've had, and the best memories are always with people. So these are the 7 things that we wished we knew before we left. Hopefully they're interesting to you and they help you. But all in all, yeah, just enjoy your trip. If you're going to plan a trip, just do it. It's gonna be fun. And the only thing is the vehicle, because that's the only thing you can't really control all the time. The rest is all a mindset. The vehicle is the only thing where you have to just know your car's weakness, and that way you're ready for it. And you'll save yourself from a few problems, just like this Defender, who's never gonna work.
I've just did a 3-point turn.